only reason we have killed this man today is because Muslims are dying daily by British soldiers. And this British soldier is an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. By Allah, we swear by the Almighty Allah, we will never stop fighting you until you leave us alone. So what if we want to live by the Sharia in Muslim lands? Why does that mean you must follow us and chase us and call us extremists and kill us? Rather, you lot are extreme. You are the ones, when you drop a bomb, do you think it hits one person? Or rather, your bomb wipes out a whole family? This is the reality.
The extent of your fight against the cancer of Islam are shaken fists and a couple of thrown rocks. Even your war dead, brave, honourable and noble men and women who in their death gave us freedom and whose sacrifice, whose sacred memory and priceless gift is spat upon and insulted by Muslims, even this searing outrage fails to raise even the slightest indignation, even the slightest rebuke. Still you stand mute and motionless. Truly you are beyond contempt. Our nation has a rich history of greatness, progress, sacrifice and the service to others. I recall our nation, our fathers and our grandfathers. They did not waver, they did not flinch. They stood with clenched fists and grit teeth and suffering much.
The murder of the British soldier Lee Rigby proved to be a major turning point for the English Defence League. In terms of its external profile, it moved from being a fringe organisation to being a household name. Local divisions of the EDL reported a tripling of registrations through their social network and website pages within 48 hours of the death of Lee Rigby. The English Defence League had emerged back in 2009 in direct response to protests by the Islamist group Al-Mujahideen to celebrations for British troops' homecomings in Luton. Those links with ex-army personnel and with some of their organisations had remained strong within the movement, and at grassroots level, concerns about the disrespect for British troops remains a strong motive for participation and membership of the movement.
I'm sorry we're late. Are you?
No, it's all right. Mum's not too sure because she has with her sister got taken ill.
Yeah.
But I can carry on like tomorrow as well.
Okay.
She's got my barrel right on now. I can't how old was I? About 15, 16.
Okay.
It's pretty like drum and bass. We used to like or rap and things like that. And used to like us to hang around here.
So you bring music out with you?
Yeah, I used to bring like a stereo.
Yeah. And were you into footy at that point? Were you into the fans and everything?
No, at the time I used to be a Liverpool fan. You know, it's just obviously not a real football fan, just like a glory grabber. It's still home.
Yeah.
You know, I lived in Greece for how long was I over there for? 7 months.
Doing what?
Well, I was with my ex-girlfriend. She worked over there, and I was just doing like odd jobs, like a bit of labouring here and there, and I loved it. But obviously I was in a bit of trouble before we left, and obviously when I come back, I went to prison, and you know what I mean. I thought, well, you know, I've done wrong, so, and look, I've touched wood, and I've never been in trouble since.
Yes, yeah.
The voices heard in this film are those of grassroots activists. This was a conscious decision at the start of the research to focus on everyday members of the EDL rather than the leadership, whose opinions and positions can be accessed by other means than ethnographic research. However, some of the voices you'll hear are those of informal organisers and admins. In the film, all the names are changed to reflect the pseudonyms that the respondents have been given in the academic publications, although those who agreed to be filmed know that effectively their rights to anonymity are compromised by their appearance in the film.
So how you got involved in the EDL?
Since 2009, I was watching the news, and there's some like in Luton, some troops coming home, like a homecoming parade. I was watching, I heard like loads of screaming and shouting, and I thought, what's going on here? Then look, it was like obviously Muslims, you know what I mean, the extremist Muslims, like have death to our soldiers. And I thought, oh, that's a bit bad, that is. And I know it's like a few people, like the local people from Luton, they stuck together, and they challenged them and said, what are you doing? I thought, well, fair play to them. And obviously, I was on the internet, I was on Facebook, and someone was talking about it, so I clicked on some group, and I think it was called United People of Luton. I can't remember if I joined it or not. Then it's like people and I were going to start like a movement. Then my mates got involved with it. Then they said, like, obviously we're going to start doing demos about these sorts of people. So what's it about, like just Muslims, or you ever know about extremists? I said, well, they're not extremists, are they? I said, they haven't killed anyone, they're just putting their view across. It's just the way they're going about it. They're trying to change everyone. It's like the halal food. You know what I mean? If I like a curry, I'd go to a curry house. You know what I mean? And if it's halal, it's halal. You know what I mean? But it's not getting fought. It's up to me. It's my choice to eat that curry or not. You know what I mean? I don't agree with how it's being killed. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? I say chicken. I'll go to get a frozen chicken or a fresh chicken. It's being killed. Was it stun gun, whatever they use? But not to cut its throat and let it drip dry, you know, with blood. And I don't agree. Even though if I was against it that bad, I wouldn't eat meat full stop.
If it's in their own country, it's fine. Because I wouldn't go and live in Pakistan, because I'd probably kidnap them and get my head chopped off and killed anyway. But I wouldn't go over there and try setting up Church of England, because it's their laws, it's their religions, it's their traditions, it's their creeds. But vice versa is happening over here. They are coming to this country slowly. They've got, okay, they want a place to worship, fine, let them have mosques. But do not allow Sharia law into this country. No how, because it's evil. It allows you to marry and have children with children. It allows you to have more than one wife. Which, okay, some people might say, great. Women are second-class citizens. They have to walk behind their husband. There's just so much, and slowly, it's creeping into this country. I would not be surprised in the next 10 years if there is Sharia law in this country, to some degree. It wouldn't surprise me whatsoever.
Because it's English Defence League, people automatically assume that you are racist because you want England to be English. You know what I mean? White.
Instead of being patriotic.
Yeah, and that's exactly what it is.
You know, I'm not white. I'm not black, but you know.
You're not white?
No, I know. I can keep scrubbing it off. It's just not happening, man. But yeah, so like I think, like, because I'm not this top. I won't wear this top around town because this is. I feel. Like, I mean, I will wear it, but it is. I think it's associated with marches only.
Whoa! Get the flag.
No, I think I'll get challenged less, to be honest with you, because it shocks them. It's quite easy for a non-white person, or even a white person, whatever, to attack with a top on, because, you know, she's white and she's against, you know, racism is black and white. That's what they assume. But no, I feel, and I find it funny, but yeah, no, they don't know how to challenge me. Because they're looking at me and it totally blows out their whole opinion of the EDL. Because they're so small, narrow-minded, you know, racism is white people against black people. Racism to me is one race feeling more superior than another race, or like religion. That's it. It's not about nationalities or anything like that.
The EDL is routinely referred to in the press as a far-right or extreme right group. From an academic perspective, however, it shows distinct differences from traditional far-right and neo-Nazi groups. It's clearly closer to a social movement than it is to a political party. And from leadership through to grassroots, there's almost a universal concern to mark a clear line between the EDL and classic far-right or neo-Nazi groups. This has led some to suggest that the EDL is part of a new far-right, whose ideology is characterised by a very loose set of views, focusing around ultra-patriotism, critique of mainstream politics, and an aggressive anti-Muslim agenda. From my own experience of researching at grassroots level, though, I'd probably go further and suggest that allegiance to either right or left has relatively little meaning for most members of the movement, and there is actually very little sense of shared ideology. Even those extreme members on the fringe of the organisation who follow some form of National Socialist ideology come from very different starting points.
The English Defence League, we've been here 3 years. 3 years ago, people would say, Muslim, Islam, okay, Muslim. People were scared to say the word Muslim. They were scared to say the word Islam. Yeah? They were. 3 years ago, no one would say it. Okay? The truth is coming out about Islam. People are proud to talk out against Islam. And whether you like it or not, these scumbags on that poster have been defeated because of the English Defence League. Muslim paedophile gangs.
If we unite as one, we will be the most feared group in England against Islam. The biggest.
Not about fear.
It is. It is about fear. You know, if there's militant Islam, they should fear us.
Rule with
going
fear?
to that town.
That's Nazism, surely.
No, not really. If we go to a town where it is Islamic dominated, I do want them to be fair. I do want fear. I do want them to feel fear. Like I'm going to their town to oppose them.
No,
you know what I mean?
No, I want to put the fear in the people's mind about Islam, not
that's what I mean.
Rule with fear.
No, obviously, I'd want the way the Rossi is, if you can go into a demo and come out of the demo peacefully, then fair be. But if you go to that town and them want to confront you, them have got to know the consequences. Like, you ain't going to fucking just stand there, sorry about my language, stand there and look at them, you're going to say something, you're going to act. It's England, not Pakistan, you know what I mean? It's up to us what we do, not them. It's our country. If you don't like our laws and our beliefs, Birmingham Airport Terminal 16, you know what I mean? Pack your bags and go. That's the way I see it, look.
In the media, when you hear something about the EDL, they usually call it a far-right movement.
Yeah.
Is that something you recognise? Are you far-right?
Not really. I think I'm just like proud, and I don't like the way that them chuck their laws on us. So I don't see us as far-right racist hooligans. You know what I mean? So like, so when you're at a demo, like the media only show like the actual demo. They don't show like what goes on behind the scenes, like meetings. Like when you meet up at the coach park, it's all one big family. Everyone's there for each other. And that's how it should be, to be honest.
Would you call yourself a racist?
No, I call myself like English. It ain't racist to oppose like an ideology what's based to rape children and like based to cause hate. It's all Islam is like something what should be destroyed, and hopefully it will be destroyed.
So my mum she didn't know what to do, and my mum always feels bad the way I turned out. And I said, it's not your fault, Mum. You know what I mean? You tried your best.
What do you mean how you turned out?
Obviously, we're getting in trouble with the police and all that. She feels bad. I said, well, it's got nothing to do with you, Mum. You know, there's two paths. You chose me to go on the right path. It was me who chose that path, not you. You know, like the bus drivers in Birmingham, there's a lot of Polish bus drivers. They can't speak a word of English, but they'll say hello, morning. You know what I mean? They haven't come over to take our jobs, to come over to work. Like if I went to Poland and I walked to a factory and have a job, I'm not taking anyone's job. That person should have got there before me.
Yeah.
But it's the people who come over and claiming benefits and we want a house. And I'm thinking, oh, it's like that, what's his name? That Abu Hamza.
Yeah.
He's living like a £2 million house. And like, his missus is still getting benefits. He's got like 7 bedrooms, a couple of kids. I'm thinking, well, if that was like a British person, maybe they're to be white or black or Asian, they wouldn't get nothing. They'd be like, well, you can't have that house because it's too big for you. You'd have to have this little 1-bedroom flat. I'm thinking, well, why is it British people not getting anything? But these immigrants, they're coming over and they're getting everything.
Well, they come into our country, and they should, at the end of the day, I don't care who it is, they should take on our culture. You know, okay, they don't speak our language and whatever, learn it. You know what I mean?
Who have you got in mind when you say
Anybody.
You know, anybody. It could be anybody. It could be Poles. It could be anybody. And I just find them rude and arrogant. You know, they're over here and they look at you like you're a piece of shit and whatever. You're in our country. You're taking our jobs. Do you know what I mean?
And who defended their country?
Exactly.
They got their country back, you know, it was us that went into Poland. Yeah, so you can you've gone from Muslims to Eastern Europeans, you know. I feel like Eastern Europeans won't, you know, point, you know, one Pacific one out, but you know, you can look at them, their community, exactly like you can look at the Muslim community. They don't want to integrate, they don't want to know us, they don't care. I've worked in places where, you know, when you become a minority in your own country, and you've got a really big issue going on. I mean, you know, they used to associate the amount of illegal immigrants in this country by like towns or cities here. But now we're going to, you know, we've got more illegal immigrants in this country than Iceland have got as a population now.
But does this perception of Islam as constituting a cultural threat to British society mean that the EDL is inherently Islamophobic or racist? If there is an ideological trope underpinning narratives of participants in this research, I would say it's less a classic form of racism, which is in any case overtly condemned by many participants, than a kind of anti-multiculturalism, where multiculturalism is seen as a top-down political agenda imposed without a mandate from the people.
Because it took a long time for Britain to get over racism. When I was a kid, many years ago, like I used to get chased by BNP. You know what I mean? They were skinheads then. Real, you know, fucking burgundy, fucking boots, everything. You know what I mean? Oh yeah, everything. So, you know, that was... So I think Britain it got over racism, it accepted multicultural, everything. Because we all lived as one. I mean, everyone's got their issues, and mainly old people with the Indians and the corner shops and whatever. But I mean, my niece and nephew, you know, if they like turn and say, oh, fucking Packy, well, they don't swear, but Packy, or like my brother says it in front of them, I tell him don't do that. Because I mean, the way we want to bring up our kids, it's not being racist, you know, it's not, you know, that's why we want to stop it, because they will be brought up as racist. And it will just cause the whole situation again. You know, it's took like 30 years to get over it. And then the last 10, 11 years, well, I'd say about 8 years, it's kicked off again. But my main reason, I feel, it's extremist Muslims, where you can...
It's not all Muslims, is it?
No, it's just... I've got a Quran at home. You know what I mean? So, you know, yes, I have felt like burning it, you know, but I'll probably be sent down to prison. And I've been tempted to do it, actually, to see exactly what would happen to me. Yeah, apart from Muslims trying to kill me. But, you know, like, just to see how the government would treat me.
This feeling of discomfort in multicultural environments might well, of course, be influenced by wider anti-Islam discourses, especially those currently linking fundamentalist Islam to acts of terrorism. But as historian Roger Griffin points out, cohabitation has never been a simple process.
This is like a predictive mantra that there will always be components within a modern liberal democracy for whom multiculturalism and the idea of open door policy to any ethnicity is a major problem. Quite often there are concrete socioeconomic reasons for that, but also there's just a question of temperament. Some people find cohabitation, what the Spanish call convivencia, much more psychologically distressing than others, and that's almost like an irrational factor that you can't really capture in surveys. Some, even within the same street, some people would find multiculturalism more of a problem than others, even when they're in the same group.
It's not all Muslims are suicide bombers, but all suicide bombers happen to be Muslim. You know, and how can you, when they're walking around with these things, and when they escape, wanted criminals escape from France in a burqa. You know, even France had the foresight now to stop them wearing burqas and covering their faces in public.
David Cameron or the British government or any man whatsoever who will tell us to strip our dress code in order for us to display our beauty, where our beauty is only kept for our husbands. We are not going to do something like this.
But I don't agree with the burqa full stop, because I think, you know what I mean, as a woman's point of view, it's like degrading. It's like me saying to my girlfriend, right, we're going to the pub now, a few of my mates will be there, put this mask on, because I don't want to see your face. She'll be like, how about fuck off? You know what I mean? Because like, it's me trying to dictate to her.
I think structurally, there is no way on this planet that a far-right, overtly racist, xenophobic, anti-Islam party will ever become a major force in British politics at a national level, so not in national elections. At local level, as we saw from the Respect vote, if you get a local constellation of forces, a perceived failure of councillors or mainstream parties to address very real issues about employment or housing, etc., combined with the astuteness of a local representative of the EDL to actually, in his rhetoric, avoid the stereotypes which would make people feel guilty about voting for them, whatever they feel privately, then it's possible you could get some local victories.
No, I mean, Tom, I think, no, I mean, it'd be good, you know what I mean, but for him to say, for instance, like, I don't know, English offensive, we go political, everyone in the country votes for us, and you got Tommy as Prime Minister. You know what I mean, I've got a respect for him, but to be Prime Minister, you know what I mean, he's not that, you know what I mean, he's a clever lad, you know what I mean, I've seen him on Jeremy Paxman, and he's one person you can't get over, Jeremy Paxman. And when I found out Tommy was going on it, I thought, what a prat. I thought, what a prat. And I watched it and I was gobsmacked, because Tommy absolutely, he destroyed him, and like, I'm thinking, oh my fucking God. But as a like, Prime Minister, you know what I mean, it's never going to happen. But you never know, you know what I mean, when he's only just turned 30.
I'd propose to end Islamic immigration straight away, instantly. I'd stop the building of mosques instantly. I'd make it extremely difficult for anyone who wants to have an Islamist ideology. I'd make it clear that if you want Sharia, you go to a country with Sharia.
While what unifies members of the EDL is this sense of Islam posing a threat to British society, the range of experiences and views on what constitutes the nature of that threat are so diverse that it's almost impossible to generalise.
Where have you come from today?
I've come from Birmingham.
From Birmingham? From Birmingham. Are you members of the ED Hour?
Yeah, I am myself, personally.
Yeah, how long?
Let's see, I think for me it's been since 2011, and what about
EDL, I started with EDL since from the day one, since it was actually born itself.
What makes you want to participate in their activities?
Well, myself, I was in the British Army, I've done 5 years in there, and the worst thing is, what gets me is like the way the country has come to like a downfall itself.
I'm here because of Islam. Islam is a problem for everyone. Myself, I'm an ex-Muslim. Basically, I left Islam around when I was 15 years old. I know everything about the Quran, what its message, and actually, Islam is more of a cult than an actual religion.
What makes you say that?
It's because of what's written in the Quran. Actually, everything that's written in the Quran and Hadith. More than 50% of them, of these verses, are actually quite violent. They preach violence towards non-Muslims and towards women as well. In fact, even the founder Muhammad, he himself was different, but not in a good way, in a natural bad way. Yeah? Because he was actually a kind of person who you would not regard as a prophet, basically. I mean, for example, consummating your marriage with a 9-year-old girl, that would be considered unacceptable in this day and time.
Okay, tell us why you're here today then.
Because everybody else is, really. Fight militant Islam, basically, on the streets of England.
Yeah. And are you a member of the EDL?
Been a member for 3 years. It has changed. I've seen them go from violence to peaceful demos, back to violence. You know what I mean? I'm not being funny, but sometimes it needs it, sometimes it don't.
Why does it need it?
People aren't going to stand up and count themselves unless, I'm not being funny, but a gang of people just protesting on the street, that ain't enough. Sometimes you have to come down to bare knuckle just to get your point across, in my eyes.
And what else do you get involved in? Do you get involved in any kind of politics, talking to councillors, MPs?
No, nothing like that. Basically, where I'm from just on the outskirts of Nottingham. It's full of Muslims wearing burqas and things like that. Reason why I wear this, because they intimidate me what they wear. So I wear this to intimidate them, end of the day. Simple.
What do you hope to achieve by coming on this demo today?
Get Islam out of the country.
And do you think it'll be effective?
Not today, no. Over time it will be. Yeah. Like I say, I've been coming 3 years and it's been one of them. It has took time to get where we've got now. A couple more years and I believe we will get somewhere else.
And why English Defence League and not any other organisation?
BNP are racist. Nick Griffin's a cock, simple. Nick Griffin is a cock, simple.
So EDL isn't racist then?
No. I'm not being funny, right? We have got racist members, right? Not everybody. There is racist members. There's people who go there for a scrap. There's people who go there for a cause.
Because at this time, it's not only the English people, it's everyone that's sleeping. If you just look around, what's happening in the world today is only because of one thing, and that is Islam.
And wouldn't it be better to write to your MP?
But if you write to the MP, come on, you're from Britain as well. Look at Tony Blair, he messed the country up. Look at David Cameron, what has he done? He's let England become basically a shithole, really. It's like, if you look at it, he opened the door to the EU. Why? What's the point? Now the people in the UK, the British-born people, they ain't got no jobs there, so what are you supposed to do? Obviously, you have to do other stuff to support yourself. It's like myself, I used to do security, for example. Yeah. I used to get like £80 a shift. Yeah? Now the Sudanese, Somalians, Afghans are come. They're working for 12 hours for £20. So what can you do?
What do you think the EDL stands for? English Defence League. Yeah, I thought I mean, what policies do they have?
For our
what
rights.
ideas?
For our rights, yeah.
Break the shadow. Who's our? What do you mean by our?
Like the white people, the people taking our jobs. If you go around now, all the young kids now can't get no jobs because all the packies have got them. So it's
knocking down loads of buildings,
knocking
mosques,
we still want them.
houses.
They're knocking people's homes down to go and build mosques for just people to pray in there. What we should do, we should shove a pig's head on the gates, man.
Right, how old are you?
16.
16. Do you think a lot of people think the same way as you? Or?
Yeah, a lot of people. They always come first.
So why don't people come out? If you look at there's not many young people out there, why don't they come out on demos?
Because they're probably scared of like all people just coming after us, innit? So you know what I mean?
Yeah. You think they think you get kind of attacked if they can?
Yeah.
So what will you go back and say now?
People just stop being here.
Tell
people that they need to move.
Yeah, bring loads of people.
Do you think it's important still to go out on the streets and demonstrate?
Yeah.
It's not? Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with it. You got to fight for your own country.
Do you think it'll achieve it?
It might.
Yeah,
It'd be. In the future we'll achieve something, but if we go on the street now where I come from and I'm shouting EDL, I'll probably get jumped or something, but standard. One of them ones.
Amidst this ambiguous and diverse set of positionings, what emerges clearly is that EDL members share a sense that they, as white British or white English, have a minority status and are subject to discrimination both in terms of access to public resources, especially housing, but also jobs and healthcare, as well as by what they call a two-tier justice system that privileges ethnic and religious minorities.
No surrender to Taliban! Scum! 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 If we would have attacked, 5 of us would have attacked a Muslim, it would have been a fray, it would have been a racist attack, and we would have been jailed for it. There is now double standards in this country. If you're a white ethnic British person and you do something like that, you're a racist. If somebody attacks you, I know there's new laws now which have been in about 4 or 5 years to say that a white person can be attacked and it's a racist attack. But honestly, you know, if I was sat on the train coming over here this afternoon, about 1:15, something like that, and I had a black African girl sat next to me, which I haven't got a problem with. But she kept, do you know when the train's packed and she kept moving and her leg was like shoving up against mine and she kept nudging my shoulder and she wasn't doing it on purpose. If I would have turned around and said to her, oh for fuck's sake Jim, I'll not keep doing that sort of thing, it's irritating me now. With my track record now, that probably would have been deemed as racist.
What does that make you think about British democracy?
Crap. There isn't any answer. It's it's not good actually. It's we've got no civil rights. You know what I mean? We've lost all our civil rights. I feel. I don't know. It's a weird one.
I can't wait for you to go to Luton and whatever to see what it's about. It is unbelievable. There's hundreds and hundreds. Police always say something like, "There was 300." There wasn't 300. There was 3,000.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But the police always say there was 300. I mean, if you've got somebody standing up the road, like with the camera, and you can see bodies for as far as the eye can see, that's not 300 people. But they said it was 300 people. Do you know what I mean?
See, that's when you feel that you're doing a cause. You know what I mean? When you got 3,000 people there, all for the same reason, not throwing fucking bricks and whatnot, or, you know, we're there, we're marching. That's when you feel proud.
My name's Tommy and I'm Divisional Leader of the English Defence League's Gay Division. LGBT stands for lesbian, gay, bisexual and transgender, and the English Defence League has had this division for over 3 years. But from the media bias, you would not know this, otherwise they can't keep up with the lie that we are homophobic fascists. Even before the EDL existed, some of the first people to protest against Islamisation was gay people. Obviously, Muslims aren't the only ones who are homophobic. Statistics show that 40% of this country are homophobes. But looking at this crowd now, I don't see a single homophobe here, otherwise I wouldn't have been allowed to speak. The English Defence League, it's not about sexuality, it's not about skin colour, it's not about religious belief. All that matters is that we stand as one and we fight for England till our dying breath.
There are numerous reasons why people leave or more usually take a step back from the EDL. Ones that are often cited relate to the heavy toll that participation takes on everyday lives.
I was just walking up here, I've noticed a car drive past me and it's gone up to the island up here. And then it's come back down, and so I'm on my phone texting. Suddenly, I've seen about 4 Asian people who've done Muslim, and they've gone back down to the island, and they've come back up, and I've looked and I thought, oh, here we go. So I carried on walking, and there was about here, and they've pulled up, and I've seen one of them on the opposite side of the car, like that, hanging out the window. And I thought, what's he doing? And next minute, so I carried on walking, and next minute, I've heard like a smash. And I just ran about here, and I just smashed, and I bought it, smell was petrol. And the car sped off, and there was like petrol there, and a few bits on the jean. And I just I've looked, there was like a rag in the middle of the road, and it was on fire. And I thought, fucking hell, someone's like petrol on me. And I thought, I was just panicking. I was thinking, well, if they I was looking for like anything like a piece of wood, because I was thinking, well, I've just thrown the petrol bomb. Like, what are they going to do next? I'm in the idiot for one reason. If I turn and say, well, I'm not going to go for that area, then to me, I've surrendered to them. You know what I mean? I'm fighting this cause with everyone else. So if I turn and go, I'm walking down that road, but I'm not walking down that road, that seems to me that I'm giving in to them.
It was all right with me.
Yeah, long story very short. I was at the demo, obviously. I travelled across with Coventry and Birmingham lads, and there were some Warsaw lads there as well. I looked down to the right and I just seen lines of police officers in full riot gear again, and I thought, oh my God, we ain't getting out of this one for ages. So I did walk down to them and I said to them, I can't remember exact words, but it was along the line of, we ain't getting cattled in again, are we, mate? And he's gone, no, he said, we're just blocking the street off. Noticed a load of guys with pink hair and multicoloured hair shouting things, and so said nothing to them, walked back up, said to my mate, I won't give you his proper name, effing UAF down there again, ain't there? Cheeky gits after what they've done in Walthamstow, occupying where we was meant to be and pouting Tommy Robinson and all the rest of it, and Stuart with stones and bricks and everything they could get their hands on. Next thing you know, I've looked and there's about 100 lads down there kicking off at the police. So I've gone down and I've noticed one of the lads from Warsaw and he was like looking really aggressive. So I've gone in front of him, tried stopping him, noticed to the right hand side there was a load of lads ripping up everything they could and throwing it at the police. Truthfully, look, you wouldn't know until you had nothing to do with it. You know my little d***y on air life, I had nothing to do with it. So obviously I've got my back to 3 lines of police. Next thing you know, I've had a baton across my shoulder. I've had another baton, this is police batons obviously, across my leg. I've gone to the floor, I'm not the only one, I'm sort of like, as you're trying to get up, everybody's gripping each other to try and get up, so it was just almost like being on a merry-go-round, you can't, and next thing you know I've got one on my head. So I was arrested, took through what looked like a big steel cage sort of thing, and there was like, what we know as paddy wagons in this country is like a big police van with loads of individual cells inside there. And that was it. I ended up in Warsaw, Bloxwich police station. 20 hours later, I was released on police bail. And the police bail was to not attend EDR demos and to sign on at police station every Wednesday and every Saturday between the hours of 1 and 3. And I was banned from going to Warsaw.
Completely?
Completely, unless, well, this is the ironic thing, I'm still banned from going to Warsaw, but my next appearance at the police station, because they've rebailed me, is at Warsaw. So what they're planning to do, have me for breaking police bail once I go in there. They haven't found any evidence to charge me or anything. So my solicitor has said to me, you know, look at if they don't find what they're after, because they initially arrested me and they was looking to try and charge me on instigating the riot, oh yeah, causing the riot, and throwing missiles at police officers. I can look you straight in the eye, look you straight in the camera, I did not do that, I've never done that, I never will do that. I mean, Hillary's been around me a few times, you've seen me angry and shouting, but never to the point where I'm going to lose the plot. I've got too much to lose by doing that. You know, my mortgage would go because my missus would be out in the street if I went to prison, the business would fold.
Research has been neither to support nor to condemn the views expressed by the EDL. It's been rather to listen to voices of individual members within the movement and to seek to understand rather than to judge the meanings they attach to their own activism. For some, this very act of listening will still feel like a legitimation of those views. I would argue, though, that in practice not listening simply reinforces that sense of being silenced that EDL members already perceive. In this sense, the more they are silenced, the louder they will have to shout in order to be heard. So what is the role of the academic here? I think it's not to use the knowledge gained to either support or condemn any particular political position, but to encourage society to engage in critical reflection. To do that, we must first be self-critical and challenge our own positionalities, something which ethnography forces us to do on a daily basis. As one respondent said to me, as I explained to him I was a researcher rather than an EDL supporter, universities are the training ground of the UAF. Does this somehow evade the responsibility of the researcher to take up a stance in relation to his or her research subject? I would argue on the contrary that this critical reflection itself constitutes such a stance, because the problem we're addressing here is not the EDL per se, but a political system that fails to engage in a listening practice. and whose only response to unwelcome voices is, to quote, to smash the fash. The stance taken here, therefore, is one of resistance to the replacement of explanation by condemnation.
I then realised that marching through the streets saying Allah Allah Huda is Allah, what we were actually doing is giving any moderates, any people who are willing to speak up against extremist voices, we're actually giving them something something to align themselves with extremists on the same issue, because we're offending all of them. So to solve the problem, we need the support, and we need to work with Muslims in this country to defeat Islamist ideology.